In the headlines, a state funeral for Dominica's first Chief Minister, Franklin Barron, who died Sunday at age 93. Prime Minister Skerrit and the Association of Music Professionals announced a joint plan for the music industry and plans to market tissue culture bananas in the region and Europe as farmers are encouraged to invest in their farms. I am Kenny Williams with the Channel 5 News. Details after this. First up, Prime Minister Skerrit announced on Monday that the man who became Dominica's first chief minister in 1960 will receive a state funeral. The late Franklin Barron died on Sunday at the age of 93. Prime Minister Skerrit described the late Frank Barron as having made a significant contribution to Dominica's political and economic landscape. Mr. Skerrit says Barron also made a sterling contribution in the private sector, news media, tourism, and agriculture. He described Mr. Barron as a straightforward person who spoke his mind whenever the opportunity presented itself. Mr. Skerrit says there is no doubt that Mr. Barron made a significant contribution to the country over an extended period of time and stayed home to work for the well-being of the country. More on the late Franklin Barron in our next newscast. On the agriculture scene, Dominica could eventually market its first tissue culture bananas not only in the region, but ultimately in the European market. Minister for Agriculture Johnson Drygo made the disclosure on the weekend when he joined a delegation to witness harvesting of tissue culture bananas in Calibishi. The first batch of 60,000 tissue culture banana plants imported by government from France were treated at the Smart Greenhouse at 1 Mile in Portsmouth in June last year. The plants would be used in the management of Black Sigatoka and help develop a sustainable action plan for the banana and plantation subsectors. In Calibishi on the weekend, the minister had the opportunity to see the fruit of work put in by the ministry and farmers towards that end.
The ministry is very committed to ensure that the banana subsector succeeds. One of the things we will be doing coming out of this visit is to ensure that everything the farmer is going to need in preparing these bananas for export, in meeting the export requirements, will be done so that we can send a high quality banana out in the regional market first, and hopefully we may need to go back to the European market because we believe that we will have a lot of farmers going back into bananas.
The minister says the number of farmers requesting plants mean they are motivated, particularly as they realize government's commitment to support them. And while government remains committed to supporting banana farmers, it is encouraged by those who are helping themselves. Minister for Agriculture Johnson Drygo has commended farmers such as D.Les Warrington, who has not only capitalized on tissue culture plants provided by government, but has also made a personal investment in inputs.
Been doing very well. They're very good. We had little hiccups along the way, and at the time we got it, we had a slight drought in July, but we overcame that, and we did hand watering with drums and water the young plants with our hands. And well, in the beginning, we thought it wouldn't have done good because the fertilizers and the white lime came a little slow. But then after it came in, and then we did what we had to do. And well, obviously, as you can see, I had to put my own resources to get it to that stage.
Warrington received 2,600 tissue culture plants and has so far exported close to 800 boxes.
It was happening to hear Mr. Warrington said that he had to put some of his own inputs. And this is what we want. We want to assist the farmers, and we want the farmers to assist themselves, because the ministry will not be able to continue to sustain the banana subsector. So we want the farmers to start owning the process of sustaining their bananas, continue with good crop husbandry, continue to maintain their fields, the right application of fertilizer at the right timing.
In other news now, students of the Dominica State College have been given the basic tools for using crowdfunding to their advantage.
Crowdfunding is the practice of using an online platform to raise small amounts of money from a large number of people to fund a project or business venture. The seminar at the Dominica State College was organized by the OECS Commission's Competitive Business Unit, CBU.
You actually create a video where you would basically give your idea and then put it on a platform. We have quite a few platforms which are being used. One of the various platforms that is being used as recent as possible is GoFundMe, and one of the few that we have right now in the Caribbean is Vision Funder, and recently Pitch and Choose. The session today is actually providing the training tools for the students at the college to help enhance them to, one, create their video, and number two, to actually assist them in the various platforms that they have out there to use to put up their crowdfunding page.
Athana says the crowdfunding initiative has been taken around the region, and the OECS CBU teamed up with Vision Funder to make this possible.
We rolled out the project in 6 of the 10 OECS countries, now with Martinique included. So this time around, we actually it's 9 out of the 10 OECS islands, and we did focus on the young entrepreneurs, basically through the college, the A-level business, the A-level students, and those that actually have the young entrepreneurs starting out their business. And one of the things that we are doing in our spare time, we're actually mobilizing and spreading the word. So it's not going to stop there. We're actually going to mobilize, but we are just trying to concentrate on closing off that final section and then continue to mobilize.
The OECS CBU is being described as an integral step for entrepreneurs to benefit from the crowdfunding initiative.
One of the things that the OECS Competitive Business Unit guarantees to them that they can use us as form of a medium where we can help promote their ideas. Because one of the things about crowdfunding, you need to promote your idea in order for the crowd to get to know about you and basically fund you. So through the organization, we would actually help promote you to the various other organizations that we deal with, the small businesses, the NGOs, the business support organizations. We can help actually spread the word of your campaign to those various persons.
Funding for this project is made possible by the OECS Economic Union through the 10th EDF project.
Environmental clubs of high schools sounded the call on Saturday, discouraging the use of plastic on No Plastic Day. The idea is to do this on a regular basis, with some Roseau supermarkets participating in a No Plastic Bag pilot project.
We are also trying to encourage the shops and so on to have these bags given out instead of having plastics. We are trying to encourage them to have these bags given out instead of having plastics. Plastics, we all know, take more than 500 years to decompose.
All business places should invest in bags like this, and it has to start from the top. Government should give these business places duty-free concessions on bags like this, and so they can give back to their customers at cost price. And so all of us have to do what it takes, because the plastic is a cancer to the earth.
This was the first No Plastic Day organized by Solid Waste Management Corporation. In 2012, the Discover Dominica Authority, Ministry of Tourism, and the Hotel and Tourism Association had partnered to host a similar activity.
If you look at our drains right in front of us, there are some plastics in the drains. These plastics end up in the sea, they end up killing our fishes and destroying our environment. So we're here to say encouraging Dominicans to follow the rest of the world and use no plastics when they go to shop.
Coming up, the Dominica Youth Business Trust looks for alternative sources of funding. Welcome back. Two top music professionals will conduct training for local musicians as Prime Minister Skerritt warns that efforts have been taken to raise the quality of the product.
Canadian recording and mixing engineer and producer El Stu Young, who has worked with Prince, and Swedish songwriter Alina Gibson, who has written for U.S. pop star Nick Carter, will be on island later this month and in May for trainings in sound engineering and record production. This development comes as Prime Minister Skerritt and the Association of Music Professionals, AMP, announced a joint plan for the music industry on Monday. AMP will be responsible for implementing a national strategy on the heels of this renewed thrust by government.
We have invited a renowned and international songwriter, Alina Gibson, who will conduct the sessions at the Dominica State College. beginning on the 26th of April to the 29th of April. Alina Gibson, I'm sure a lot of people will do their research. She's a Swedish national, and she will be coming to share some of what she knows that makes an artist great in the international market. Following those sessions, from the 15th of May, we will host another training in studio, recording, and sound engineering with the facilitator named Stu Young from Canada. Soon the applications will be available both online and at the Dexia office.
Mr. Skerritt, in his 2015-2016 national budget, said government would set aside $500,000 to address a range of issues facing the music industry. He says all expenses associated with the training and other upcoming activities will be met by government.
We put in place a task force to advise the government on some of the actions which we should be taking in improving this. The government has left it absolutely to the music professionals to determine the areas of training that they believe they need. So the monies, we have already procured the tickets for the professionals to come to train. The funds will be transferred to the association's account. They will manage the funds on behalf of the government. So all of the management, all of the oversight, all of the implementation, we are leaving it to the association to do. I give the musicians the assurances that we're not in the government here about talking about this thing. We're very serious about it. And this is why I am personally overseeing, in initial stages, the interventions that are required to get our music to be at a particular level.
Skerritt's vision is to see music contribute more to the economy.
What we need is foreign exchange. We need musicians to go out there into St. Thomas, into St. Martin, into the United States, in Europe, and have some gigs there, have some performances, and bring in the US, bring in the pounds, bring in the euros into the banks. The foreign exchange, it impacts positively on the economy. One of the things that we have to recognize, in order for us to take advantage of the EPA, in order for us to take advantage of the free movement of musicians within CARICOM, for example, there's an issue of certification. You know, we cannot show up at an immigration desk because we have a guitar and people assume that we are musicians and so on. I would like to one day, for all of us who consider ourselves to be musicians in whatever different aspects of the industry, that we have a certificate that we can show that, look, I am certified.
Participants of the courses will receive a certificate through the Dominica State College. Idona John Baptist, Channel 5 News.
23 cases are on the court's cause list for Tuesday's criminal session at the High Court. Of that, number 8 are of a sexual nature, from buggery, indecent assault, rape, attempted rape, and unlawful sexual intercourse. There are 7 murderers on that list. Other matters include unlawful wrongdoing, aggravated burglary, grievous bodily harm, and abduction. Kenroy Paul and Florence Telemac will appear for sentencing. Paul for drugs and Telemac for GBH. Director of Public Prosecution, Evelina Baptist, along with state attorneys in her department, will prosecute on behalf of the state. Presiding judge is Justice Errol Thomas. Coordinator of the Dominica Youth Business Trust is confident that the program will continue to reap benefits despite the lack of funding from an international institution.
In 2015, funding from the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, to the DYBT dried up. Coordinator of the DYBT says the institution is looking at other sources of funding, but is confident the program will continue to be successful for young people in Dominica.
Well, yes, we are negotiating for additional funding from other agencies, and we also get support from the ministry, so the government. So hopefully that our program should not be affected as a ministry department, because we will be getting funding from the government. We also seek funding from other funding agencies. Last year we had funding from USAID, like we said, under the YEPEC program, the Youth Entrepreneurship Program, Eastern Caribbean, so we got funding under that. We also get funding from Youth Business International, which is part of a network that we belong to as a youth business trust, and we get funding from these agencies also. We have trained more than 500 young persons in terms of entrepreneurial training. We have over 200 young persons who actually are in active business. So I think that we can say that DYBT has had an impact on our young persons and the entrepreneurial landscape in Dominica.
Additionally, 25 potential entrepreneurs are set to benefit from the 10th Entrepreneurship Development Program, EDP, scheduled for 18th April to 13th May.
The first element of the EDP is the Achievement Motivation Training, which is a one-week residential style program which assists young business-minded people to understand their personality, their leadership potential, and to discover the entrepreneurial spirit within them. And it includes an intense and field package of training for young persons in terms of business management, business survey, developing a survey instrument, developing a business plan. Also part of the training will include panel discussion in which the young person will get a better understanding of what is involved in our loan guarantee facility. The beneficiaries of the 10th EDP will also interface with resource persons, successful local entrepreneurs, and other departments that will help prepare them in terms of starting their business. What are the essentials that they need to know?
The DYBT celebrated its 12th anniversary in March this year. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
Dominica's education sector has received help in continuing its fulfillment of a component of the OECS education sector strategy.
The disclosure was made by a Ministry of Education official on Monday during a presentation ceremony of books and pencils to primary schools from a Trinidad-based company. The education officer for the Western District says the schools chosen to receive the items were those in need regardless of the impact of Tropical Storm Erica.
We do have a number of schools where students still need books, pencils, and we know children need those things on a daily basis. And at the Ministry of Education, we take great pride in reading. And what is a school without books? But believe you me, it is very, very important, and we are very grateful as a ministry that you all could think of giving us this gift. And we can assure you that we will be using it at school.
Roye says the contribution ties in nicely with the OECS education sector strategy.
This donation relates very closely to one of the 7 strategic imperatives of the OECS education sector strategy, and one of them is to improve the quality of teaching and learning at all levels using learner-centered experiences. And how does that relate? Obviously, if you want to have a learner-centered experience in the classroom, you need books, because it will allow the children to get more information, to be able to speak about what is in the books and listen to stories being read to them and being read, they too reading to the teacher and to other students and that kind of thing. So it will actually also help the teachers to use those books as resource material in the actual lesson delivery.
This donation of stationery items to the Ministry of Education was made by Millennium Freight Services, a direct representative of Logistics International based in Trinidad, which is an agent of the Whitchurch Group of companies.
After Tropical Storm Erica, Logistics International actually shipped a lot of goods free of cost up to Dominica, relief items that Trinidadian principals of Whitchurch Millennium Freight Services had collected and sent up, and this was distributed through the correct channels. Our principal CEO of Logistics International, Mrs. Asha Ali, was very insistent that the donations and the aid relief did not stop there. So she worked on her own and solicited some exercise books and pencils to donate to students across the school, primary level students, because she felt sometimes a few months after, people tend to forget. They tend to forget that you still need assistance, that everything is not 100%. And she asked us to use our discretion and hand it out. And she also understood the fact that everybody would be giving the bigger items, the food items, so she wanted to focus on the youth and the education.
Campbell, Belvishope, Girardel, Warner, Dalis and Bells Primary School, as well as Pioneer Prep and 2 schools from the North Primary Schools District will benefit from this donation.
Some people may find that this is just a little thing. But let me tell you something. If you come to our school, to see that we have children who come to school every day without a book and a pencil. So I am so grateful that somebody could recognize that and to do. And I am hoping that this is just the beginning. You have just led the way for other people to donate, because we really need that. You wouldn't imagine. You probably think it's just a little thing, but it's indeed a big thing, because I know of some children who are sitting in my school right now without a pencil.
Head of the Cooperative Development Division, Mariette Canoville, has proposed creation of a non-financial cooperative in each constituency as a way to boost the economy.
The Cooperatives Development Division is an arm of government which has been in operation for over 50 years. It develops and regulates non-financial cooperatives. There are 32 registered non-financial cooperatives, including groups involved in farming, fisheries, and manufacturing. In the context of current economic hardships, Commissioner of the Cooperatives Development Division, Mariette Canoville, says more investment into setting up cooperatives will increase economic activity.
If we want to create jobs, we create one cooperative in each constituency. In 20, we have 21 constituencies, but we use 20 constituencies, and we create jobs there. 20 cooperatives, hiring at least 30 people, creating jobs for 30 people, that is 600 jobs. And we have one big cooperative to buy all the products from these cooperatives and market them overseas or get them sold for the people. You can have 600 jobs being created, foreign exchange coming in. We can have the economy going again.
Canoville says she would like to see greater attention to non-financial cooperatives in the new financial year.
I use the example a lot of Japan after the war, when Japan had to rebuild the economy. They really went into cooperatives, and they used cooperatives to rebuild the economy. And history has shown when there's a lot of poverty, as we have seen, economies are bad. I mean, there's no ifs and buts about it. The economy of Dominica is bad, and a lot of people are out of jobs. So what we need to do, we need to focus more on developing cooperatives. They struggled for capital, startup capital, and that is what we would wish, that we get startup capital for them and put great emphasis on them so we can use them to turn the economies around.
That's news. I'll be back with the sports highlights after this. Hello everyone, and here are your sports highlights. First up in sports, after a week of matches, 2 Dominicans form part of a 17-man squad selected from the Winlot Windward Islands Under-15 tournament on the weekend. Ethan Ducktrove and Jocelyn Valmont are the 2 locals who will participate in this year's competition in Grenada. The others include Lee Salmon, Gavin Serrier, Zephaniah Edwin, Simeon Gerson, Keegan Arnold, and Dominic O'Geese of St. Lucia, Jimmy Buddy, Curdon Felix, Anthony Denbar, and Sendel Regis of Grenada, and from St. Vincent, Armando Brown and Jahil Walters. Meantime, St. Lucia's Gavin Serrier stole the spotlight as he was crowned the tournament's most valuable player with 155 runs and most valuable wicket taker with 11 dismissals. He was also awarded $500 in check. Dominica's MVP was Jocelyn Valmont. In other top performances, Jahil Walters of St. Vincent was awarded top batsman with 184 runs, while Grenada's Sunil Narayan got the most wickets. St. Lucia won the tournament for the 3rd time, defeating Grenada by 85 runs. The victors finished on 10 points, Grenada 7, St. Vincent 5, and Dominica in the cellar position with 2 points. Meantime, President of the Dominica Umpires Association, Heston Charles, says more support needs to be given to sporting events, especially when Dominica is the host country. His comments come at the end of the Winlot Under-15 tournament on the weekend.
It's always good when Dominica can be host country to cricket like this. Some of the primary schools or even secondary schools can come there and cheer up for our young lads. I believe we should maximize every possibility of getting our young people to gain their confidence on this level. Under 15, if you look around as a player and you're there batting and you can see your colleagues in the stand, let me tell you something. If you're on 5 runs, you want to add another 50 to that, because you look in the stands and you see people cheering you out. That for me is a key element to the cricket.
Meantime, on the basketball scene, the efforts of Cedric Hippolyte, 21, and Bert Benjamin, 20, helped put Kyrie FM Old School in the lead when they defeated Police Sports Club in the 2016 Flow DABA League on Sunday. Old School ended their game on 57 points. Floyd Theodore added 10, while Marlon Hillier assisted with 9 for Police to bring their team to 37. Meantime, on Sunday, 2 closely contended matches ended in a narrow victory for Fashion Line Falcons and Elvis Welding Services Hornets. Falcons beat E.H. Charles Crossovers by 3 points. Edmund Williams led the way with 20 for Falcons, while McRae Edwards had 18 for Crossovers. Final scores: Falcons 58, Crossovers 55. In the other matches, Elvis Welding Services Green Hornets had 57, while Detroit Blazers had 55. Jay Collier registered 21 points and 9 rebounds for Hornets, while Jason Lee had 15 points and 3 assists for Blazers. Going back to the local cricket scene, the Big Edge Gifford Toussaint softball tournament had its first knock on Sunday. However, a poor turnout of teams could mean a short league. At the opening Ballarama, only 5 teams were present. Dasper had a convincing 8-wicket victory over Woodford Hill in the first semi-final match of the Ballarama. In the second semi-finals, Cornwalls versus Stuco Construction Hammers. Stuco defeated Cornwalls by 3 wickets, Cornwalls ending on 59. Still in sports, the sports division will kick off the NBD Primary Schools Girls Football Championships on Tuesday and Wednesday. The competition will take place at the Benjamins Park, Castle Bruce Playing Field, and the Lindo Park. The quarterfinal and final rounds will take place on April 19 and 22 respectively. Sansevere Primary was last year's champion. A ball in the hand of Chanel St. Rose spelled trouble for Wesley as the Dominica under-23 team secured a win in the Big Edge Financial Express League on Sunday. St. Rose had 31 from 49 attempts, while Kayla Winston assisted with 3 from 6 for the under-23 team to help bring their squad to 34 points. Wesley launched their best attack but were only able to reach 23. Edna Charles shot 27 and scored 19. Narissa Hippolyte got 4 from 9 tries. Still on the netball scene, Dominica secured 3rd place in the Jean-Pierre Under-16 tournament ended on the weekend. Newcomers Jamaica defeated defending champions Barbados in the final to be crowned the 2016 champion. Dominica placed 2nd in last year's competition. That's all the sports for now. I am Kenny Williams. Join us again next time. Your weather report is next.
Good evening, Dominic, and welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I'm your presenter, Marshall Alexander. We begin by taking a look at earlier infrared satellite imagery. Weak unstable conditions resulted in an increasing cloudiness across the region during today. Taking a look at earlier visible satellite imagery, what it showed, an increasing cloudiness across Dominica and some of the other islands of the Caribbean, and this resulted in generally cloudy skies across Dominica. Now, taking a look at earlier radar imagery, what it showed, some scattered showers across the island today and some to the east of Dominica and moving to the west. Tonight's weather is expected to be mostly cloudy with a few scattered showers, and similar conditions can be expected into tomorrow. Sea conditions are expected to be moderate in open water with waves peaking near 7 feet. Looking ahead for the next 3 days, increased cloudiness and scattered showers can be expected throughout the 3-day period. As a result, persons in areas prone to flooding, landslides, and falling rocks are advised to exercise caution. Conditions for the rest of the Caribbean tomorrow: increased cloudiness and scattered showers across the central and northern portion of the region, with a relative improvement in conditions across the extreme southern portion of the island chain. Our international cities forecast: some rain can be expected in New York and Caracas, and partly cloudy skies expected in Miami, London, and Beijing. Sunrise tomorrow will be at 5:52 a.m. and sunset will be at 6:20 p.m. For more information, you can call the weather hotline at 447-5555 or visit our website at weather.gov.dm. Thanks for viewing. Have a good night.
To end the news, the headlines again. A state funeral for Dominica's first Chief Minister, Franklin Barron, who died Sunday at age 93. Prime Minister Skerrit and the Association of Music Professionals announced a joint plan for the music industry and plans to market tissue culture bananas in the region and Europe as farmers are encouraged to invest in their farms. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube page. On behalf of the production team, I am Kenny Williams, and to all of our viewers around the world, thanks for watching. Join us again tomorrow.